sustainability and light. I think really the most important light, and this is which I also saw here in Frankfurt, is the natural light. Even if we don't have sunshine, we are lit by the light from our sun, and this is the most sustainable in terms of on one side of the energy side as well as on the health side, because we do light for people and we want everybody to be healthy. On the light in building, looking at artificial light, I'm very happy to see that sustainability is not only an aspect of energy efficiency nowadays, which I saw years ago. Now manufacturers also look much more at the way how the lighting tools are produced, and as well what happens after they were working, when they have to be recycled or as well be repaired. I think this is a beautiful sense on the lighting buildings. One of the really nice trends now on the light in building is that manufacturers look more at the quality of LED light instead of only the efficiency. After having all these years of looking at efficiency, we forgot about the color temperature. Okay, that was one step, but now also color rendering is much more important. And this is something which makes me very happy. I think as a lighting designer, we want to create atmosphere, and atmosphere also has to do with the way how colors appear. How does the color of my face appear, and how natural this yellow of my wonderful book appears. So that is one point. Another point is we look more at light distribution curves, which is important for us as well. And yes, another trend is to look for production and as well for recycling, to look at materials we use and to look at the process of producing light fixtures. We work really in very, very different scales, from the little design of a luminaire, of one object itself, up to big cities and master plans, as one was the master plan for the city of Rotterdam, or as well the Hafen city in Hamburg, a big new part of the city of Hamburg. For me, the common thing that both has is that we try to do something nice for people who use it, either a little object or an urban surrounding, a public space where I think we can enjoy much more, in a good light, much more a community, much more being together, also having diverse interests or backgrounds, and having the exchange. Light brings a very important part for communication, which is, I think, a very important thing in our times that are difficult at certain times or in certain aspects. So when we design a light fixture, we look again at what does the light do. It's not the object itself that we look at, it's the light and the dialogue of light with materials or with the space, an entire space. That is the small object serving the big space. And in the big space, we look at how people use spaces. It's different if we look at a residential area where we like to have much more a kind of cozy light, where we like the privacy or the semi-private areas as the area of pubs. And then we have cities as Rotterdam, for example, or Hamburg as well, with this view to the water where we enjoy it, to have enough darkness to see also the water and to see the width of the space and the landscape. So all these things come together, and I think it shows that light is something that has to do with all aspects of life. This is the reason why I think it's a very holistic thing, and why I enjoy so much to work in this field since more than 30 years, because I always find new aspects which I try to bring together under the different themes I wrote down, under the themes of perception, under the theme of nature and culture, as well darkness and atmosphere, magic, health as well, and sure, sustainability. The three most important factors of a master plan. I don't know if I would reduce it to three, but there are three and much more. First thing is to love the people who use these places, to use the city and to live in it, and to bring happiness and liveliness into the city. It's really the most sad thing to see an inner city which is empty of people. So we try to look at this. This is the approach. But there are also technical points. There are also technical points which really control or bring this atmosphere. One point is how high is the light point. The higher it is, the more fresh and general the light is, the lower it is, and this is, for example, in residential areas and cozy areas. And the warmer it is, the more coziness you find, the more privacy, and as well these places you identify with and you feel at home. That is the height of the light point. The color temperature, sure, the warmer it is, the more people feel cozy. But this also has to do with the areas of the world where you live, because taste or culture is different in terms of color temperature, and being aware of that. Yeah. And the next, I think, really important point is not to put kind of an even light everywhere, but to structure with light. I call it the mud of light when it's only even, and I think it's kind of islands of light when you structure it and you bring certain accents into the lighting landscape. The project that has given the most satisfaction to me. I must say there are a lot of projects which made me really happy. So looking back, there is still the Grand Galerie of the Zoological Museum in Paris, which I still love and I visit whenever I come there, even if it's more than 30 years old. But the newest project I'm very proud on is the Trident Art in Malta, where our clients, a family who were beer brewers, or who are beer brewers, they transformed one of the big factory buildings to an office building. And together with this very engaged client who said, we don't knock the old building down, it is part of our culture and of the history of this country of Malta. We built within the old building. This is one very sustainable art, because they still use the grey energy. And in the same time, they contribute to history as well as to aesthetics. so beautiful buildings from the 1920s. The architect then said, okay, we try to have a lot of natural light and natural ventilation in this building. So we have to cut courtyards in it. And so the long building of 200 meters has these beautiful gardens in between, where the client in the beginning said, but I will lose a lot of square meters. This might be too expensive for me to lose them. But we, together with the architect, developed a system that it's possible. Also in the underground, in the former underground, we have daylight. And these other spaces above ground, they have the best daylight factor I ever measured and calculated in projects we did. So now in the end, the client already rents 95% of the building, whilst other very ugly high-rise buildings beside, they only have around 20 to 30% of tenants in their buildings. So it shows to be brave for a client can come out as something wonderful.